Hey, don't forget to check out Rant Cafe wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, and so on. You can watch the episodes live as we make them on Twitch, links in the description. And of course, the links to all of our guests in each episode are in the description, so show them some love. What is up, everybody? It's Animac here from the YouTube and Twitch channel Anime Uproar, and welcome to another episode of the Rant Cafe Anime Podcast. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to be talking about some controversial opinions within the world of anime that we might hold and that we think that the majority disagrees with, so this is going to be spicy. And we're going to be debating who has the best controversial opinions. Joining me today, we have, of course, my co-hosts, Briggs and Noxtaku. Welcome, guys.
Woo!
Yo.
Always good to be here.
Yeah, glad to have Nux back for the last, 4 weeks. I had some
2
stuff
weeks.
like come. Yeah, but I wasn't here for 2 weeks, and then you weren't here for 2 weeks, so we haven't seen each other 4 weeks, bro.
It felt
except
like
I
4
spoke
weeks.
to you every
That's how
day
much I missed
since
you.
then.
No, I know, but in the capacity of Rant Cafe.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Sure.
Also joining us, our boy Evan Ito. Evan Ito.
Heyo, I'm the Phil again.
Evan eats zero.
Evan, you
shut
said
your
it
mouth.
incorrectly.
You're not a filler. You're a canon part of the story that is Rant Cafe.
Well, I mean,
No,
we'll
I
find
appreciate
out
that.
by the end of this Rat Cafe if he's a filler or canon. Because if he doesn't change anything, then
My
he's
opinions
filler.
will just make you never want to invite me ever again.
No, but if you have
And that's
such
the
a good
beauty of this episode. Hold nothing back.
that should
I mean,
be
there's
your
a
that should be
reason-
your objective, to make us hate you so much that we don't want you back, and then we'll have
There
to
you
want
go.
you back.
There you go. You know what? I got it.
Yeah. And before we start, I just want to say an update on the Kyoto Animation fundraising. Kyoto Animation, or KyoAni, has now opened their own account where they're accepting donations for the fire and all that stuff. But it's through bank transfers. So if you're able to do bank transfers, you can donate to them directly now. You can either Google it or we will link it in the description on the YouTube video. You can also, if you can do a bank transfer for whatever reason, you can also still do the Sentai Filmworks GoFundMe. They've raised over 2 million now. It's crazy. So definitely, if you want to support, we'll link those in the description if you're watching the YouTube video, or you can just Google it.
Thank you, Evanito, for following.
I'm sorry. Did you just follow us now?
No.
Don't make
Totally
me kick
didn't
you.
Just follow. No.
I'll
no,
fucking
what?
do it. I'll
That's not me. That's not me at all.
Okay, moving on from the fact that Amanito just followed us now on Twitch. I
Wow.
also wanted to say that if you are listening or watching this before Friday the 26th, on Friday the 26th at 8:30 p.m., we will be in Hamilton, Ontario at Con Bravo doing a Rant Cafe panel. Me and Briggs are going to be there. Nux lives too far away, so he won't be. But we're going to have Glass Reflection as our special guest, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The room is room 314, The Lair. So check that out if you're in the Hamilton, Ontario area or the GTA or whatever. Con Bravo 2019. That's all the announcements I have for now, guys. Let me know if you want to get into the controversial stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm hyped for tomorrow because that's Friday the 26th, right?
Correct. Yep.
Sweet. Can't wait for it. And Nux Taco just followed us on Twitch too. What is going on here? I'm booting everyone. Everyone's
I
fired.
just unfollowed to follow you again.
Oh, okay. I didn't think that would actually work. Fuck.
Oh,
Now
wow.
people are gonna follow us. Or gonna unfollow and then follow again just to ruin the stream.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, Animac, who is starting off with a controversial opinion today?
I mean, I can.
I vote Evan.
You want me to start?
He's the
Okay.
guest
Okay.
and protagonist of this episode.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna start with an opinion that is probably way too old for most people to remember, but the whole Ichigo from Darling in the Franxx controversy. I even made a video on it titled "Ichigo did nothing wrong," because I truly believe that she actually did nothing wrong. And I know people were out here saying "Oh no, Ichigo is being a cockblocker and all this stuff, blah blah blah." It's no, in the grand scheme of things, she did nothing wrong because 02 was legitimately trying to kill Hiro. I don't get how people just didn't see that, and Ichigo was just trying to protect him. So that's my controversial opinion, even though I feel like it's the right opinion that most people don't share.
You're gonna find this very funny, but I don't think any of the three of us actually finished Darling in the Franxx.
I was gonna say I have a controversial opinion. I got bored after 2 episodes.
Oh my God! Screw you! It's a great show.
No, I've seen Darling in the Franxx. It does get boring later, I will have to say. But I actually agree with you, Evan. I do agree that this is a controversial opinion with the fandom. But I personally think that if you look at it from Ichigo's perspective, right, as a character, she doesn't know Zero Two. Zero Two is a new stranger in their lives.
Yeah.
She's obviously some kind of monster that kills people. Like she's killed her previous partners, and her best friend is the protagonist, and she's just trying to protect him as her best friend. So I completely understand where she's coming from. From her perspective, she did nothing wrong, but because we as viewers see Two's perspective, which Ichigo doesn't see, then we're like, oh, you're being mean. But I think you're right on this one.
Yeah. See, thank you for agreeing.
Yeah, I also agree. I also never had anything against Ichigo.
I mean, I also agree. Griffith did do nothing wrong.
Okay,
thank you.
please.
Oh God, that is the most controversial.
That is a meme. That's just a meme.
That is not controversial. It's just false.
It's
Like
false,
you could say,
100%.
you could say Griffith had started off out with some noble ideals, but the actions he took are still ridiculously immoral.
Yeah.
Animac, are you still reading Berserk, or do you like, oh, the eclipse was too gory?
No, I'm still reading Berserk. Yeah, I'm way past the eclipse, man.
And even if
Yeah,
you
well,
like,
where are you? Where
even
are
if you could understand why Griffith did what he did, like not the rape part, but like why he would submit to doing that, or like what, like from his perspective or whatever, it's still like immoral in every way. So even if you understand why he was put in that position, like he was at the last like brink of his life type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I understand him. That doesn't make him
No,
not
absolutely
wrong.
doesn't
I
mean I'm
mean,
not wrong.
like,
100%. I was just memeing. I thought I should
Yeah.
clarify that.
Yeah, of course. Animac, where are you up to in Berserk?
I'm at that part now where he's rescued Casca and they defeated that crazy priest dude.
You didn't even get anywhere, man. You're just like 2 arcs away from the clips. Dude, the best is yet to come.
No, I know, but I'm reading a lot of stuff, man. I'm reading like 5 manga.
Okay, but those are like once a week or whatever, or once a month.
I mean, I guess. But anyway, there's a lot of work to be done, Nux.
Yeah,
Controversial
okay,
opinion, Nux.
I'm up to Berserk. And
I'm a
I
little bit
upload a lot.
behind, but it's been a long time, so I should just reread it all. 100 bits from Playmaker. Unpopular anime opinion. I have 2 sisters and don't want to have sex with either of them.
Oh man, that's right.
I mean, I guess it is an unpopular anime opinion.
All right, Brigo, take it away.
Which one should I start off with? We can start off
I
a
have
little.
this issue as well. There's so
Yeah.
many.
I'm like, someone gave me an idea to talk about Dragon Ball Z. I'm trying to think. You know what? We'll start off mild. I can't watch dubbed anime anymore. I think it's all bad. Like it's such a cringe, like toxic opinion. Kind of like people enjoy dubbed more than subbed, and people enjoy both mediums, and they should like I shouldn't hate on other people for doing it. I used to like dubbed anime, and now it just every time I watch it, it comes off as cringe to me. So one thing I noticed is if someone says something in Japanese, somehow it sounds badass. Say the same thing in English, and now it's cringy. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
for example, there's Zawardo and the world.
I know. My God, what a great example.
Wow,
Thank
amazing.
You. Thank you.
Yeah,
So like
it's
even
so
like
true.
dubs, like for example Cowboy Bebop, that's amazing, or Steins Gate. Steins Gate I always watched in dubbed. FMA I always watched in dub, and now it's like I can't, like I have to watch it in subbed. I haven't rewatched Cowboy Bebop, so I don't know. But I'm just saying like FMA, when I go back to watch it, I watch it in subbed.
We definitely should have had like a voice actor here like Connor. He would have loved this opinion.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a fan of dubs either, per se.
But isn't his job to overdub things?
Yeah, he's the only good voice actor.
No, but like even if the
Okay.
voice actors are super talented, for whatever reason, I feel like like watching anime in English is
No,
hard. For
I know
me
what
to
you're
enjoy.
saying. The
It's hard.
cultural difference becomes much more apparent when
100%.
when it's dubbed.
Yeah,
No, but even
and
like
also,
cringy things, like things that are like cringy in Japanese, are 10 times more cringy in English for whatever
When I
reason.
see a girl with cat ears say something and end the sentence with "nya" in Japanese, it's like I can live with it.
Yeah, you can
but
live
in
with it.
English, oh my god!
It's hard. Because what I'll
Yeah,
do is I'll
because-
watch it in anime.
Would you like some crumpets with your tea, nya? Ah! No, I personally like dub though. I have nothing against it. I do like certain dubs more than others. I like certain subs more than others. In general, if I'm watching an anime, I don't know. I don't know. I'm too lighthearted to be like, I'm gonna watch this anime in the best way possible. You know. So I'm very happy to watch dub.
Well, that's how I
never-
used to be. I always like if there was a dub available, I would watch it in dubbed. And a lot of times I would watch in subbed just because I would be watching it too close to when the series comes out. And now I feel like over time it's just harder and harder for me to watch dubbed anime. And I've been noticing I'm trying to get my friends and my girlfriend into anime, and whenever I watch with them, I'm like, how can I get them to like it if I can't even like it right now? Like this is like hard for me to watch.
No, I
In
mean,
the chat, Pain Major 700 says Irwin's dub voice is pretty good, and that is a disgrace. The only dub voice I don't want to hear is Irwin's because it's Jotaro's, and the Beast Titans is Dio's. So when they're coming against each other, it's Jotaro versus Dio again.
oh man, I can't wait for Evanito's next opinion. But anyway,
My next opinion.
I will say, Briggs, that I personally tend to agree with you. There are very few dubs that I think are really good. One of them is Cowboy Bebop. Like, I actually prefer the dub to the sub to Cowboy Bebop, but that's like the only one ever. The other few are like Gurren Lagann and like Code Geass that I think are really good dubs. But in general, I think that with subs, it's just more natural because like they're made to be said in Japanese. So all the intonations, the different gesturing, it makes more sense in the Japanese. And once you're immersed in the anime community, then you get it, you understand it. But then when you watch a dub, then they try to translate it and make it more Western centric. It just doesn't make sense culturally.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it makes some sense for someone who doesn't know Japanese culture because they don't watch a lot of anime. But if you are familiar with it, because for like decades you've been watching it or whatever, studying Japanese culture, whatever, then it is, I think, cringe. And I guess now that you're more into the fandom, Briggs, and you don't only watch like One Piece and Dragon Ball, you are understanding.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Because at the beginning, I saw nothing wrong with not that there's something wrong with it, but like I had no problem watching dubbed anime, and even like recently, I was always able to. And then just like literally like in the last couple of months, I'm like, because probably hadn't watched dubbed in a little while, I tried to watch dubbed. I'm like, this is so cringe. I actually physically can't bring myself to finish this episode. I am swatch. Like, you guys are learning how to watch in subtitles right now, boys. Like,
I'm actually arguing with my brother recently because he's now started watching dubs more. He's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling like watching dubs. And I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
You bring shame to our household. Be a good Serbian and do like Harikiri or something.
Yeah, we don't have that in Serbia.
Johnny, let's talk anime. Thank you for the 1,000 bits.
Oh, snap. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who else?
I'll go with an opinion before Evanito ruins everyone's day.
Ruins.
What do you mean?
I get a turn before Evanito.
Yeah,
I'm like,
take it away, Anime.
Yes, so I think that sometimes the trashiest anime waifus are actually the most desirable anime waifus.
This is not news.
Yeah, that's not a controversial opinion.
No, but it is.
The beauty is, though, I would like to elaborate. Animac's definition of trash is different than yours, Evan. Your definition of trash is like these slutty bimbos that surround the protagonists. Animac's definition of trash is like Kira's wife.
Yes.
It's like these anime characters, no one would ever, in their wildest dreams, even consider that they're waifu material, but Animac's banging them.
What the hell?
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, sometimes these women were like, in real life, you would be like, this is a terrible person. As an anime waifu, I'm like, I know she's a terrible person, but I also like her. Why? That's me. That's my controversial opinion. Like, yes, Kira's wife, 100% very attracted to her.
I think that's like part of the beauty of anime, right? Like, they could do unrealistic things or things that like wouldn't make sense in reality, but it's an anime. It's not real, and you could like enjoy stuff that's terrible, or just they have different ways of presenting things. Like, I like yanderes in anime. There's no way I would like a yandere in real life.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, like
I have to say though, Animac definitely needs to catch up in One Piece because Big Mom is waifu material.
So I've heard. I've heard young Big Mom was
thick.
Quite the keeper.
All right. Well, would you like to continue, Animac, or?
No, I mean, I just think that I wonder why that is. Like, why I find female characters desirable that in real life I think they would be like crazy. But I guess it's part of the escapism, which is something I'll get into later too. But yeah, anime is in part escapism and kind of fantasy that you can't necessarily have a one-on-one comparison to the real world, and that's okay. That's part of the fun.
Actually, I completely
Anyway.
agree with you on that controversial opinion. Surprised. Me and Animac on the same page about subbed anime and anime waifus? What the fuck?
Damn. And we all agreed with Evan's Ichigo take also. So this is like the most peaceful, controversial anime opinions ever.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ruin it the day after.
I'm also gonna ruin it because this is way too peaceful for my tastes. I was gonna say something that Fairy Tail is one of the best anime ever.
I mean, I agree with you. I actually
typical
agree.
Nuck stuff that Fairy Tail will freaking make you cry because it's brilliant. But
These are
whatever, we won't talk about Fairy Tail. We'll say something else. I don't think you've ever heard me say. Dragon Ball is the worst long-running shonen ever.
Including the Dragon Ball series, the original.
I haven't seen the original, so Dragon Ball Z and on.
Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. No. Bleach
How do you
is worse.
define it long run?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Briggs said.
I said
but
no.
I would define long running like over 100 episodes. I don't know.
Okay.
No,
like
Bleach is worse. It has bigger highs, but also way worse lows. Dragon Ball Z is
I feel like this
consistently
is the most
fun.
controversial thing ever because I don't hate Dragon Ball, but in general, I like shonen. So as far as all the shonen I've seen, I feel like Dragon Ball is my least favorite long-running shonen I sat through.
I mean, that's
which is
pretty close
sad.
to my next opinion I was gonna give, but don't worry, I'll keep it for a second. I found a little bit later, later on in life, like I love shonen anime, but when I go back to watch Dragon Ball Z, it's actually hard to watch. Like the nostalgia is keeping me going, and the hype moments are keeping me going, but the pacing, it is so slow to get to anything cool. It takes literally 20 episodes to like enjoy one moment. A lot of the time.
Yes, but
So in the chat, people are saying that like Dragon Ball is more important for what it created than what it is. I know that's not what I'm talking
But
about.
that has nothing to do
It
with the quality of
itself
the show.
Is my least favorite long-running shonen anime. I like Black Clover better. I like My Hero Academia better. I like Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, D. Gray Man. Literally every shonen I've watched, every long-running shonen I've watched, I prefer to Dragon Ball Z.
Well, personally, I
like Dragon Ball, but
I don't know, because I feel like I see your point, but in terms of the pacing, especially the original, but with Bleach too, I feel like Bleach has some really
Have you seen Bleach?
Yeah, I've seen not all of it, but I've seen a lot of it, and like it has a great start, but then the pacing lags in Bleach as well. It's just I think it's just a long running shonen thing.
No, but even if you skip the filler,
yes,
Dragon Ball Z's pacing is kind of pathetic. Not gonna lie.
I would advise skipping all filler from all of them. All right. So if you're skipping the filler in Bleach, the pacing is not as abysmal as you think. If you skip the pacing and you skip like the recaps in the beginning of the episodes, it's really not that bad. For example, the Soul Society arc I think is better than anything you see in Dragon Ball by a long shot.
No.
I don't think you've seen the Soul Society arc.
Soul Society is not better than the Frieza saga on Namek, man.
I think it's way better than the
Soul
Frieza
Society
saga.
is fantastic.
I would actually say it is definitely way better. Frieza saga is.
Yeah, I don't think it's even a comparison.
So I guess this is a controversial opinion then, but like I didn't think Soul Society arc was as good as people make it out to be because it takes so fucking long for them to get to Rukia. Like, dude, 30.
Dude, it's the adventure to Rukia, bro. Did you watch it, man?
Dude,
Really?
It was one amazing fight after another, and the stakes
there was
just kept on
crazy
getting
character
higher.
development. There were crazy sacrifices on all sides. There was amazing world building, man. We learned all about. And then there was Aizen at the end to cap it all off. It was like next level shonen arcs.
They literally just topped each other, like every opponent, but also then we have a training arc. Ichigo learns the Bankai, comes in, and he's literally fist palming lieutenants and able to fight on a captain level. And then Aizen with the twist shows up and fucks everyone's day up. It was amazing. And honestly, Bleach is still worth it.
That's for one. Other really high points in Bleach that I would like to mention quickly, because I mean, you're saying that Bleach is worse than Dragon Ball, which I don't know, I disagree. All the moments where like the captains or whatever were in the human world were all amazing. Okay, the certain characters within the idea that the Vizards exist is brilliant. The backstory with Aizen in the Soul Society 100 years ago, with Kisuke Urahara there and what happened to him, that was all fantastic. Canon Bleach, I way prefer to Dragon Ball Z.
I'm just saying that I felt the Soul Society arc was definitely dragged out, and people like really say how it's great, and I'm like, it's good, but I don't think it's amazing.
Well, I think that Saying the Soul Society arc is amazing isn't even a controversial opinion.
I think you probably disliked it because what led into it was the what was it? The vampire arc. I forgot what it was called.
No, that was after. Vampires was
Yeah,
after.
that
Was it after?
That was after.
Oh yeah, you're right. That led into the freaking Hueco Window arc.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember how, like, in the lead up to them actually going in to try to break Rukia out, there's this whole thing where they're like in the kind of like the outskirts of Soul Society, was it?
The outskirts of the Seirete, where they got the guy to cannon them in because
Yes.
Ichimaru closed the door
Yeah.
on them.
With the trainer with the massive boobs.
How can you not like this anime?
So, I mean, that part felt really long to me, like that whole like prep part.
When they were all already in the Seirete and people were chasing them, don't know. I don't know. I think that the Soul Society arc was brilliant. So whatever, I'll make my controversial opinion, and I'm surprised that you guys aren't up in arms because I thought this was like super controversial.
Not
But
really.
I think that Dragon Ball Z is my least favorite long-running shonen anime I've seen.
One of my
the problem
controversial
with that is-
opinions that I'll talk about in a bit is that I find Dragon Ball Z and Naruto to be boring now. So
We're getting a lot of Fs in the chat, by
Yeah.
the way.
That is a lot of F's.
what are they talking about?
Probably the stream.
Did the stream die? I hope not.
All right.
It says F for Julius. Is it my
Oh.
turn? Is it my turn for a controversial opinion?
Yeah, go for it, bro.
I think Dragon Ball GT was like my favorite of the Dragon Ball series.
What?
And,
Oh my
and
God.
honestly, it's because like I think that Baby was one of the best villains in the Dragon Ball
I feel
universe.
like I can't even argue you because I watched it so many years ago, and when I did, I was like, "This is trash," and then I like stopped. Like, why would they fucking
through all of GT.
bring
Like,
Goku back to
one
being a
time ago
kid?
I watched it.
Well, someone in the chat agrees with me, okay? Like, but Baby
Dragon
is
Ball
definitely-
GT is a masterpiece. What?
It is though. It really is. If you really think about it, all right. See, Baby is like an incredible character. He was just out here just taking control of everybody, like it's nobody's business. He freaking got control of Vegeta eventually, and that spoilers by the way if you guys ever watch it. And
No, I finished it, but like,
well, I know
it's hard.
people in chat, but like I don't know. I thought that was cool, and like having see the fight between like what was it, the fucking Majin Vegeta versus not Majin, fucking Baby Vegeta versus like I forgot who he was fighting at first, but like it
You
was
only know a villain's a good villain if they control Vegeta.
yeah
At least
exactly
at least at one point.
yeah there you go.
I don't know. I'm very lukewarm towards it because as you already know my take on Dragon Ball, and none of you wanted to fight me on it. I guess you were
Well,
scared.
because I think I kind of agree. I do think Bleach, just the whole up and downs of Bleach, made me dislike it more than Dragon Ball. But I agree.
The problem with this though is you're talking about long running shonen over 100 episodes, and if you hate a long running shonen that much, you're not gonna watch the whole thing. So it's not
But
like
I've seen most of them, bro. Tell me, shoot long running shonens at me.
case
Try.
closed.
I've never watched Case Closed, but that doesn't mean I would like it less.
There you go. Well,
And I don't think it's shonen,
oh, it is.
but that's irrelevant. I've seen a lot of
Yeah,
long
you
running
have.
shonens. I mean, of ones that I haven't mentioned, Seven Deadly Sins is long running at this point. I mean, with the manga, I mean, Seven Deadly Sins is long running. Attack on Titan is long running.
But you said over 100 episodes. Then I don't know what your standards are now.
Or chapters.
Okay.
All right, let's just get into the next opinion.
Whatever it is. Man.
Anyone?
Well, I guess Boruto would probably be worse.
Is it my turn or Animax's turn next?
All right, your turn, Brigo.
Well,
We
okay.
just heard Evan's baby.
So I will get into the what's it called, the Dragon Ball and Naruto being boring now. And I am a huge shonen fanboy. Like, shonen's what made me get into anime, and they are still some of my favorite anime to this day. And I just find maybe it'll be better if I were to go back and read the manga instead. But whenever I try to rewatch Naruto, or I tried to rewatch Naruto and Dragon Ball Z specifically, and like we said earlier, like the pacing just made me enjoy it less. It was almost like the hype moments were still good. Lee dropping those weights in Naruto were still hype, but it almost wasn't worth me watching it. It might be because I'm getting older. Maybe I'm not the target audience anymore. I feel like I've become more critical, and it's actually hard for me to watch these shows again. I still enjoy talking about them because like they were my childhood, but I couldn't bring myself to continue watching either Dragon Ball Z or Naruto. And it's like I felt like I was just nitpicking everything about them, and it almost annoyed me. Like I'm like, can't I just enjoy my favorite shows? And I just realized they're just not my favorite anymore.
Damn,
Oh wow, we just got a
But,
glimpse into his psyche, guys.
Yeah.
So I have to disagree with you hard on the Naruto thing. I think early Naruto is still fantastic. Every time I watch it, I'm very happy to see it. I think it's great.
I couldn't
Many
watch it.
moments are great, and I've watched Naruto many times. Okay.
Bro, those first 15 I went through it. I actually ended up watching I think I dropped it in the Sasuke retrieval arc when I rewatched it a little while ago. And it was really painful for me because it was like 15 episodes I would watch. I'm like, that was like, it was hard for me to push through it. And then I'd have a hype moment. I'm like, okay, I'm into it again. And it was just the same thing over and over and over again. It was the same cycle. And the hype moments weren't like enough for me to actually enjoy the series. I felt like I was always nitpicking with the fact that like Naruto, for example, I'm like, every time he gets bailed out by the fucking Ninetales. When I was young, every time the Ninetales would bail him out, I would be so hyped up. I'm like, it's like a transformation moment or a power-up moment. And now it's like, this idiot kid, like, even when he works so hard, he still ends up getting bailed out every single time, and it just annoyed the shit out of me.
The thing is, I never liked Naruto as a protagonist. I like him more now than I actually did when I first watched Naruto.
No, but I think when I first watched Naruto,
I never watched it for Naruto
and
for
these
the character.
series. Like I feel like maybe
like
I related to these characters.
I like the legend. I like the ideals of Naruto. Lee versus Gaara is still one of my favorite fights of all time, and there are fights in Naruto that mean a lot more. Like for example, when the Sand Ninjas showed up during the Sasuke retrieval arc, that was one of the best moments in the series. And I would still freak out. I recently rewatched Lee and Gaara versus Kimimaro, and that fight is fantastic.
It is.
So I agree with you. There's still some really, really amazing moments. And when I was young, maybe I had more patience, but it's just hard for me to watch these series. The moments almost aren't enough to keep me interested anymore.
I think it's just because you read a lot of manga, so like you fly through it.
Yeah,
So for you,
it's
like
hard.
slow.
So I think like now I watch a lot of shorter anime. I read a lot of manga, and it's hard for me to sit through a lot of this crap. I feel like nothing's happening or a lot of uninteresting things are happening, and then we have one really hype fight. I'm like, that was amazing. But it's just not worth it for me anymore.
Yeah,
and it's
I definitely
sad because these are my nostalgic series that I would love to go back to time and time again. I think I have to start reading the manga.
I'm thinking of early Naruto right now, and I'm disagreeing with you more and more.
Watch
When the
like 15
Itachi
episodes
showed
of
up,
Naruto.
and when Kurenai tried to use Genjutsu on Itachi, and then Itachi put Kakashi in an Eternal Mangekyo, when Jiraiya was training Naruto and they met Tsunade, who was struggling from her own mental shiz, when Naruto learned the Rasengan, which was not helped by the Ninetales, by the way, and blasted Kabuto after Kabuto wrecked Tsunade, when you had a massive fight of summoning jutsus of the three Sannin going off against each other, and you saw what
yeah.
I'm not agreeing. I'm not
Yeah,
disagreeing with you. There are
no
amazing
Naruto
moments.
knocks, we get it.
There are amazing moments. I agree.
This
It might
is
just be the
supposed to an
pacing
argument,
and trying to
Animac.
get
I'm
to
allowed
the
to argue
moments.
for my point.
Yeah.
And also, Animac, Yu-Gi-Oh is better than Dragon Ball.
I don't know. See, this is the thing. I think Briggs makes a good point because I remember when I was a kid and I watched Dragon Ball and the original, not Kai. I thought it was amazing. I loved it. But now I feel like if I was going through every battle is like 30 episodes, I would lose my patience so fast.
Dude, I lost my patience. It was hard. It was like I was waiting for a scene that I knew was coming when Vegeta fought not Vegeta, when Goku fought Vegeta and Nappa, and it was just like I was waiting for it. 5-6 episodes later. Like he was on that fucking snake way forever. But then he gets to the battle and he finally does it. I'm like, that was amazing. But did I really just waste the last 3 hours of my life trying to get to this one moment that I wanted to see? Like I might as well just watch a fucking YouTube clip.
I do hear what you're saying, man. But first of all, you have to realize it's set up for a younger mind.
100%.
I mean, if you were to read the Naruto manga, I don't think.
I think
do not
that might
think
be the
you-
solution for Naruto and Dragon Ball Z. I want those nostalgia rushes like I used to have. I used to go back and rewatch these series like all the time. And I think I just have to go and read the manga now because I could push through it faster and get to those moments that are amazing. I think
Remember
it's because
how long
these are
Goku-
long-running shows, and they're trying to bring in as much money as possible. So the pacing is just. I mean, I don't watch One Piece is my favorite manga of all time, and I don't watch One Piece anymore. So clearly, there's something going on with me.
There you go.
But
you can't...
I could go back and watch the Baratier or Arlong arc, and they're still fucking amazing.
I remember Goku took so long to get to Namek; it was an absolute disgrace.
Yeah. I mean, the hero always has to show up late to save the day and to make that money for the studio.
Yeah.
Caster Clovis says Joey Wheeler's a better character than anyone in Dragon Ball. I don't know about that, but I do prefer Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, so that was all of our controversial opinions. I still think Naruto's epic. Briggs thinks you should read the manga. Animac, your turn.
Is it my turn? All right.
That you can tell from how I said Animac, your turn.
I thought that gave it away.
Thanks, Evan.
All right. I
You're
think
invited
that.
back.
Which one should I do? I have a bunch.
I
All right.
have
I'm
so
going to say
many.
that being an anime nerd can actually help you be popular with girls.
One of those opinions.
So
Those.
I disagree because I've been trying a social experiment with that for a video and it's not working.
All right,
I mean-
Animac, you have statistics against you.
I was
Hear me
gonna
out.
say I could agree with Animac here, but at the same time, I'm probably not your target audience. I'm a fucking Chad. Like,
Yeah, true. But hear me out because, yeah, Evanito, I don't know anything about your crazy study, but the thing is that, first of all, I mean, the obvious thing is when you go to anime cons, there are a ton of girls there, and a lot of them, anime is a common interest. So if you're an anime nerd and you know how to talk about anime with girls who like the same anime, that's a really good, breaking the ice moment. But even with girls who maybe don't like anime or whatever, if you're passionate about anything, and this is what they'll tell you, people who teach you how to be more confident and more of a better person, kind of self-development and stuff like that, they'll say that if you have something you're passionate about and you can convey that passion and confidence to someone, even if they don't understand that specific thing, they're going to think you're cool. So if having anime as part of your identity, you're passionate about it, you are confident about it, you use it to inspire you in life, I feel like girls do find that attractive, even if they don't like anime. So I think if depending on how you use anime and whether you're confident about it, I think you can do a lot of good. Because if you're like, I'm an anime nerd and I suck and I'm always going to be a virgin and forever alone, like, yeah, you're not going to find girls like that. But if you're like confident about it, you're like, hey, how's it going? My name is Animac. Actual pickup line, guys. Don't copy that. It's
It's
trademark.
Kamina backwards because he went out the cave, bro.
Yo, funny story though. I was at like a music festival and I met a few anime fans there. They approached me because I had an anime shirt. Granted, most of them were guys, but I started talking to them about YouTube and stuff, and I explained the Animac Kamina thing. And they were like, "Bro, you blew my mind, man! You blew my." They were like,
Congrats,
"Dude."
you picked up some teenage dudes. Very impressive anime.
I mean,
I mean, I'm gonna agree with Animac here first. Like, just being passionate about things or being confident is gonna go so far. But that could apply.
There we go.
That could apply
Yeah.
to pretty much anything.
Thank you. That was going to be the first thing I was going to say. Animac, everything you're saying can be applied to literally
yeah, it
everything. It's not anime.
It's just not anime, yeah.
but that's
Thank
the
you,
thing.
Riggs.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it can be applied to anything. It matters whether it can be applied to anime, because that's what I'm claiming.
And anything includes anime. So I see where
Thank
you're going
you,
here,
Riggs.
Animac.
And that's math against you,
Yeah.
Animac.
So
That's
Don't
math
be
with
fucking
me.
weird.
my whole thing though is that I've tried this, and I would like to think that I'm a very confident person, and it hasn't been working at all.
Well, what do you mean when you
Well,
say you
it
tried it?
depends.
walk
If you
around with a
approach
body-
Wham saying you want to see my sword go online, well, that's probably not going to work.
No.
I don't know. They're some pretty epic yandres in the fan base, so there are alternative ways to get girls with anime. But even more importantly, Animac, both Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and 5Ds are better than Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my god, you stole my next controversial opinion.
talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Nox.
Anyway,
Who's after Animac? Is it Evan?
It
oh
wasn't.
no, it's me.
Oh, my
Oh,
bad.
right. Nux does exist.
There's only
right.
4 of us, and I can't get the order down at all.
Lord Nuxanor here. I don't really have more. I have way too many controversial opinions. but I think we're gonna go with this. Fairy Tail's actually the best. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go with the Fairy Tail one.
I mean, I dropped it so many times. It was hard.
You know,
The characters were fun, and I feel like that's all it had going for it for me.
When you say the best, what does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything because you heard this take already. So like,
You think
I
it
don't know,
like
this isn't
top-
news.
Oh, he clearly likes it better than Dragon Ball.
Is it because of the music? Is it because of the one song that they play over every situation?
First of all, there are like 3 songs, and
Okay,
second
well,
of all,
yeah, it feels like
yes.
one.
No, but there are some really amazing moments in Fairy Tail. I think that Fairy Tail has the most emotional moments in Shonen.
Oh, it definitely does. I think, yeah.
I mean, and One Piece is up there for sure, but I do think that Fairy Tail's emotional highs reach higher.
Did Fairy Tail
than
make
One
you cry to a fucking ship? I don't think so. I
Well,
cried
man,
to a ship in One
with
Piece.
Fairy Tail. With
Therefore,
Fairy
we
Tail,
win.
the thing about Fairy Tail is that I like it. I think there's really cool things about it. The characters are cool. Like the main character is not a crybaby, which I always appreciate. But it's not like ever gonna be my top 20. But I wouldn't bash it.
Well, who would you say is the protagonist of Fairy Tail?
Well,
Oh,
not
obviously, the Fairy Tail Guild is the protagonist of Fairy Tail.
I would say
cares?
it's Lucy, honestly.
I
but-
think that
Yeah, everyone
some
argues
people
about
say
this.
it's Lucy because it's you know, it's her perspective. Natsu because it alternates between perspectives, and he's the role. You know, he takes down the
Yeah.
main bad guy in the arcs. So
But
you could say
do we really care
as
about
far as
Lucy? at the end of the day?
generic perspective wise, you would say Natsu is the protagonist, or as if you would write down the hard terminology for the word protagonist, it would be Luffy. It would be Lucy. Sorry, that was a very very
I mean,
weird.
you can apply the same thing to Seven Deadly Sins. Like Elizabeth drives the story in the first season, and she's like, but then is Meliodas
True.
the?
You can argue that from a terminology standpoint, Lucy.
Elizabeth-
Everyone's the same, and Lucy and freaking Elizabeth.
Blonde
are the
hair
same
girl.
character.
and
They're
other
both
girls.
useless characters that all they do is commentate how Elizabeth. I don't know how Meliodas and Natsu are cool. Okay, they're both guard. Anyway, let's not get into that. The point is, the Fairy Tail Guild is the protagonist of Fairy Tail, and every single episode of Fairy Tail, especially in this latest arc, I think this latest arc is the second best arc in all of Fairy Tail after the Grand Magic Games.
Yeah, I need to
I don't know. Just in the latest episode, there was that whole scene with Gray. Gray walked up to Zareth, and he was about to use Lost Ice Shell, where basically, as kind of a cost to his magic, he's erasing his presence in the world. From not only is he sacrificing himself, but he's also erasing everyone's memories of him. He's erasing all existence he's ever had to free Zareth in this one move. And
So-
like it's so powerful because this is the move that his master who raised him used to sacrifice herself to freeze one of Zareth's demons. Like, I don't know, it's so powerful. There's so many powerful moments in Fairy Tail.
Yeah, I
And-
think you're right though, Nux, that Fairy Tail does get a lot of hate. Like I see people always commenting and hating on Fairy Tail. I personally don't think it deserves that hate.
You know what? One thing I've noticed about Nux is like I feel like when you make videos about things and you kind of dive deep into it a little bit more analytically and you figure out these like amazing things about these characters and these moments, it makes the show better for you, right? Because you appreciate it more. Something like Dragon Ball will never have that, which is why it's your least favorite. That's my
I
theory.
mean, I do agree and disagree with that sentiment.
'Cause that's
To an extent, yes, you're right. Every time I talk about a show, I find myself liking it more. Like, for example, Ban is one of my favorite anime characters of all time now.
Yep.
Like,
But
I mean-
for example, like it's the same thing with me. I'll talk about Naruto and Dragon Ball and all these anime, and I'm like talking about the things I love about it, and then I go back and watch it, and I just didn't enjoy it nearly as much. It's almost like my expectations of the series were brought up by the fact that I talk about it on YouTube pretty much like daily, my favorite shows and my favorite moments. So I think they're amazing, and then I go back and it's like that wasn't that good. Like,
Well,
It's like-
there are certain things in like Dragon Ball. Like you can definitely talk about Vegeta's character development in detail. You could talk about like Future
Vegeta is
Trunks,
my favorite character in Dragon Ball.
but Future
and-
Trunks and his like tragic past and his relationship with Gohan and Super.
There's
thought
definitely what to talk about in Dragon Ball. I think that all of Dragon Ball is basically, it's very one note, Dragon Ball. Every arc is the same exact story again, just refurbished in certain ways. Like, all of Dragon Ball is essentially a motivational metaphor. And you could go through how every arc is basically the same in that degree. The whole support cast is a motivational metaphor. It's different ways to motivate you to keep growing. And everyone has their own reason why they're motivated. Vegeta's motivated based on pride and jealousy. Goku's motivated from a much more simple place. And every character has a different reason why they're motivated. But every arc goes through those individual character tropes again and again. And the villains are also, for the most part, one note, I find. Even though I really like Frieza. Frieza is my favorite villain in Dragon Ball. And I like Cell also. But in Fairy Tail, for example, I feel like the emotional moments hit harder. And as far as villains go, I have a lot of hate towards many of them because of how they're taken down. Most of the villains that are built up end up losing because Natsu got a really stupid power-up.
That he never uses again.
That he never uses again. Like, he eats ether nano, so he goes into ether mode, and that's crazy, and then it runs out after he beat the main bad guy. So
it sounds like Fairy Tail gets better later on, because I didn't enjoy it in the first 100
I think
episodes.
the more you watch Fairy Tail and the more you feel like you're part of the guild, the more you're going to love it. But the villains in Fairy Tail, like, for example, Zareth was in love with Mavis. Zareth had this whole tragic past, how he has a curse of contradiction that everyone he cares about around him dies. So he forces himself to stop caring about the people around him, which in turn, if you don't care about the people around you, makes you more evil, right? You get the contradiction?
Mm-hmm.
Or like even someone like Acnologia. 400 years ago, there was this massive war of dragons, right? And everyone was dying. It was a war of different kingdoms and different philosophies behind even the dragon kings. Some of them wanted to save the humans. Some of them wanted to kill the humans. Point is, they were all fighting. And in the end of the day, everyone lost, and Acnologia alone stood the victor. That made him the most terrifying figure in Fairy Tail history. Someone like Loxus was an antagonist. He was part of Fairy Tail. What's his name? Hades was an antagonist. He was the second leader of Fairy Tail.
Yep.
The villains are built up really well. They're just taken down really poorly.
Mhm.
And Fairy Tail Zero was mentioned in the chat. It's the best arc in Fairy Tail. And yes, it's one of the best arcs in Fairy Tail.
Someone said I can't say anything bad about Fairy Tail unless you're up to date. The story just gets so much better, and just like even if it does, you might be right. It would just the first 120 episodes I wasn't interested.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
completely with you, though. I also didn't fall in love with it until later.
that's another controversial opinion that maybe I have, and I feel like it might be controversial. But I feel like if you're a good writer, you should be able to catch someone within the first like 2 to 3 episodes. And if you don't, like I almost think it's not a legitimate argument to say, well, man, just get to episode 120 and it'll be great. It's like, no, if you can't be interesting all the way through, if you can't get me, interest me right away, then it's not a good anime.
Yeah, exactly. If 120 episodes I don't find good, it doesn't really matter if it gets better later. It's still not good.
Look, I'm
To
not
me,
claiming
obviously.
Fairy Tail's the greatest anime of all time. I mean, Hunter x Hunter and One Piece are definitely better.
But it was the same thing with Gintama. Everyone praises the shit out of Gintama, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very average and fun show, but I didn't fall in love with it around episode 75, and I dropped it. And it's just like I can't say this. Like, how can a show be SSS tier perfect? It's not perfect, clearly.
I
If
think
it
that
gets better
there
later,
are
things that
certain-
people that say things get better later doesn't make the show perfect. Like you can't forget about all the flaws beforehand for certain shows.
I agree and disagree with you because a lot of what makes Gintama and Fairy Tail also great in their own respects is because retroactively all of the scenes are worth so much more than they were on the initial viewing. Fairy Tail is only great because of the first 120 episodes that were mediocre. And I'm not claiming Fairy Tail's perfect because if it takes 120 episodes to get into a show, then that's massive issues.
100%.
But to say at this point in Fairy Tail that I don't love every episode would be wrong. I love and adore every episode. And looking back at why I love them, it's because of those slow moments at in the beginning.
Yeah, but
Like
even
that
if
whole
it's, if
interesting
it's
way to
stupid,
look at
it
it.
shouldn't take 120 episodes to set up for you to fall in love, Or
I
however
agree with
many.
you. I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing with you on
But
that.
I know what you're saying. Sometimes, like, for example, with the Straw Hats or with One Piece, I feel like I loved it from the beginning, but I felt even more in love later in the show. And because I felt even more in love, when I go back and watch those beginning arcs, I almost think they're better than they probably are because I've seen the rest of the show and I've fallen in love with the characters even more. And I understand what the show's about now, so I appreciate different things about the early episodes, the slow episodes.
Yeah, because there's so many anime out there that are like 30 episodes or less that are amazing, and their entire run is like 30 episodes or less. So then if you need 120 episodes to really love something, it's a problem.
So hold on. I'm gonna look up the fairy tale arcs and see where the episodes are, just to say where I would say it gets good.
All right, well, how about we move on while you do that?
Go for it, man.
Benito.
I just wanted to say one of my favorite moments in Fairy Tale has nothing to do with one of, I guess if the guild's the protagonist, it does have something to do with one of the protagonists. It's when Kana uses, I believe, what is it? She gets the
fairy glitter.
Yeah, fairy glitter, and
which time
cried,
she just
man.
used it in the anime.
Oh, did she use it again? Okay, well, I'm talking about.
She just used it. Okay, I'm gonna have to say, you know, Gildarts.
Yeah. Obviously.
Gildarts is Kana's dad. One of the most badass characters ever, knockoff of Shanks from One Piece.
Yeah.
who's also one of the most badass characters. But like they're fighting this really powerful opponent, and she uses fairy glitter, and it doesn't even affect him. Like it doesn't do anything to this guy. And then the guy turns to Gildarts and says to him, I understand and I know every magic in this world. The only thing I don't understand is the love between a parent and a child. So how would you feel when I kill your daughter in front of your eyes?
Holy shit.
And he goes nuts, and it's amazing.
Oh, see, this is why I need to catch up. But I was referring to the first time she like received it, and I was holy shit.
Yeah. You're talking about the first time. She uses it twice since then. She uses it in the Grand Magic games too.
Yeah. But let's see. My next controversial opinion, I guess it's not even too controversial, is the fact that I think personally Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is better than Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's because like the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Hold on. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is just all about this guy that's just good at everything, right? Doesn't really teach you anything. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX pretty much teaches you how to like just sit down and be humble, because Jaden doesn't really, or I don't know what is his Japanese name, Jalen.
Jaden's good. Go.
Yeah,
Jaden.
but yeah, Jaden doesn't really like, you know, he doesn't win everything, so you learn to just be a little bit more humble. Yugi's just out here just mopping the floor with everyone, except for the few times that he actually did lose. But like, you know, for the most part, he wins everything. Where Jaden's like, you know, constantly being like put in his place, like you're not that great.
I mean, I'll bring my controversial opinion to reply to that. I don't think everything needs to be a learning experience for something to be good. I don't think things need to be also like kind of separate from that. I think something having like a metaphorical meaning or things being deep doesn't necessarily it doesn't necessarily make my watch better in any way. A lot of the times, and like the same thing when you're talking about teaching, like the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Has its problems with the game, but I think the setups of the matchups, regardless of them like skewing the rules and stuff, are fantastic. And there is a lot of joy coming from watching someone slap another person. I mean, what's the whole, like, that's in the entire premise of Dragon Ball Z half the time. It's like, haha, I powered up and I'm stronger than you. And then he powers up, this isn't even my final form. And it just like gets hype and more hype going on. And it's kind of funny for me to say that considering I've been ripping on Dragon Ball Z, but that's just the idea that came into my head.
Well, as far as Yu-Gi-Oh! GX goes, I'm very glad you mentioned it because I love GX. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! GX's first arc is horrible, like really bad. Until Chaz goes to North Academy, I think it's trash anime.
Yeah.
However, Chaz coming back, the Seven Shadow Riders was good. I thought that the whole stupid cult of light guys, I thought that was pretty lame. But when it became an isekai anime, it was amazing.
Oh my fucking God.
Because as we know, the best anime are isekai anime in disguise. Chaz is still one of my favorite characters.
Well, Chad is a great name, right? Because it's so close to Chad.
Yes. So I'm looking at the fairy tale list right now, and Briggs, there's no way you watched 150 episodes.
120.
I started really liking. Okay, fair enough. That you debunked that theory. Anyway,
I know exactly I know exactly like around the range of episodes I watched. The first time I watched 110.
I started really liking.
The second time I got a little bit further.
Well, I do respect that, and if you don't like it after 120 episodes, that's pretty bad vibes. But I started liking Fairy Tail a lot at episode 25. That's the Phantom Lord arc. I thought the Phantom Lord arc was very, very solid. At episode 45 was the Thunder Palace arc with Loxus coming back and trapping the whole Fairy Tail Guild. I thought that arc was phenomenal. And so at that point, I already liked Fairy Tail. Then there were a few not so great arcs in my opinion, but I still liked them. Like, I liked the Tenro Island arc, even though it wouldn't be like, mind-blowing or whatever. Episode 151 is when the Grand Magic game starts, and that's one of my favorite arcs.
Yep.
And then Tartaros, I think, is meh, and I really like the current arc, even though I know
So-
people have problems with it.
No,
Yeah,
remember
and
we
I
were
think-
talking about earlier on how like I read manga now more, especially for long running stuff.
Yeah.
So I watched One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and Bleach when I first started watching anime when I was like 12, 13 years old, right? I watched Fairy Tail when I was like 18. So I probably had no patience by that point.
All right, well, that's very fair.
I feel like it's a very different experience.
Yeah,
I will
and
say
also
this,
you
though,
went
guys.
through it with the fillers, and
Oh, yeah,
I will
I
say
watched the
this-
filler stuff.
I will
exactly.
say this, guys, that a lot of people hate Lucy as a character from what I've heard, but I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
thought
that's
that her
true.
whole backstory arc was pretty good.
compared to the other backstory arcs, not really.
Hey, but that's what makes it interesting because, she was just like, I feel like she was misunderstood, man.
Rehivius in the chat says, Nux, Fairy Tail isn't an isekai, so it can't be good. I see you haven't seen the Edalus arc where they go to another world. Sorry, just
Speaking of isekai, because you guys keep bringing up isekai, I want to say an unpopular opinion. Like, I mean, there are good as isekai out there, but the fact that so many completely basic cliche isekai like smartphone and cheat magician are so popular tells me that like society as a whole is in trouble.
This
we
is
all just
not
want
a
an
controversial opinion, Animac. We all know we're on a spiral down. We know.
Because if people are so desperate for escapism that they would like accept any cookie cutter story just as long as it's an isekai, I feel like we need to change some stuff on a social level.
I mean, I feel like we could have seen this coming. I feel like part of the reason all of us fell in love with anime and video games in the first place is you get to experience this escapism and like this new world. Like, I fell in love with the world of Dark Souls recently, and it just like I can't stop playing it. And sometimes it's like I'm like I have stuff to do. I have real life things to do, and I'm just here playing Dark Souls, and it's a little scary. But what happens if you get even further than that? Like isekai literally transported to another world. What happens when we start getting virtual reality and we can make these perfect worlds or live in these different worlds? Like that I don't know. We live in a society. I'm scared of our future.
Yeah, like we're only like 10 years away from that.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah, pretty terrifying. But back to Evan's take on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
How
It was
about-
amazing. I would like to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX more if anyone.
No, yeah, I don't want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So,
Aw.
Evan,
where the
you're gonna say something about JoJo's.
I mean, that was just not a real opinion. Ha ha ha! I don't want anyone to hate me. Ha ha ha!
dude, it's Rat
I would-
Cafe.
Like,
People are
I
gonna
don't know, I
hate
have
you. It
to
doesn't
say,
matter.
I was definitely out there making fun of Dragon Ball. I mean, it's,
Yeah, bro, it's Rat Cafe. It's part of the fun. Just reading the hate comments afterwards, like it's half the fun.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, I guess my last point was that just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a horrible show. But
Comes in
all
hard.
right,
okay.
you could leave. I changed my mind.
oh my god!
And he gets kicked out.
I'll just never be invited
So
back.
what do you dislike about it?
I just don't like it. It feels too masculine.
What?
Wow, sexist.
Wait. No.
Okay, did you watch past the first arc?
No.
All right, so you're.
All right,
Okay,
so
yeah,
your,
you can't
your
talk.
opinion is.
It's not like I'm
invalid.
asking you to watch 120 episodes of Fairy Tail here, bro. I'm asking you. I'm asking you to watch the first 11 and or even skip the first 11. I'm fine with that. Watch it later. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, man. So here's the controversial opinion. I thought that the first arc in JoJo's was fine. I had no issue with it. I thought it was good. I liked the whole gothic elements to it.
Look, I would agree it's good, but do you think it was better than any of the other arcs?
No, but a lot of people are like, man, you got to get through that. It's crap, but then the other arcs are good. But I'm like, no, I didn't think it was crap. It was like gothic. It was campy. I liked it. But one thing that I wanted to bring up in terms of JoJo's, in part 5, the currently airing one, Golden Wind, I really like the fights and I like the story, but I feel like it's missing something. And I think what it's missing is more character development, because I don't feel like I'm close to any of the characters in Passione and stuff as I was to, Joseph, as I was to inhabitants of Morio as I was to, even in part 3, right? So, when some of them die and stuff, I'm not that invested. I don't know. Like, am I the only one that feels this way?
I mean, when a certain character died in JoJo's Part 5, I remember Nux was like freaking out about it. I'm like, I didn't even like it. I feel like it didn't affect me that much. So maybe I'm agreeing with you here, Animac. I don't know. I'm enjoying Part 5 a lot.
Yeah,
and I like Giorno as the protagonist. He's a fantastic JoJo in my opinion, but maybe the side characters aren't as good.
But yeah, so with Giorno, I think he's cool. He's a cool guy, but there isn't much else I can say about him other than he's cool,
I feel like I do like the characters. I do feel like some develop. I think that Mista is a fantastic character, even though he's very plain and simple, which is his appeal. I do like Diavolo, the villain. I like Polnareff, but who doesn't like Polnareff?
Everyone.
Yeah, but I would
all-
say Polnareff is, from part 3. So
Yes, I would as well. All that said and done, though, while I do love Part 5, I still think that I way prefer Part 4 because Kira made it for me. And Part 2 I like a lot more as well. I think I even like Part 3 better than Part 5. I think I like Part 3 better than Part 5 as well. But I like them all. I love all of JoJo's.
I actually think part 3 and part 5 are pretty comparable because I think they're both cool journeys. They both have a cool final villain. So I would compare the two. And I like it. I 100% like it. I'm very invested in it. I just I wish the characters were more fleshed out because when you look at part 4, you follow these characters in their daily lives in Morio, the town. There's a lot of nuance to it. And Joseph in general, the young Joseph is such a character, and Caesar and stuff, they're so great that it's just you can't help but love them. But with part 5, it's the journey is the main thing, and the character development seems to be way less in priority.
I mean, I feel like they prioritized. I think his name's Abbacchio. I can't remember. Abbacchio. I mean, I should be the fucking Italian one here. I'm fucking up. I feel like they worked on his backstory a lot and tried to make it meaningful, and it still didn't hit me that hard. I don't know. Maybe it's watching it weekly.
Maybe. I feel like JoJo's the best to watch, just a ton of episodes in one shot.
Yeah,
that's how I love.
True.
By the way, back to what you were saying about part 1, Animac. I didn't enjoy part 1 the first time, but the second time I loved it. After I feel like just falling in love with JoJo's.
Yeah,
the thing about JoJo's that Evan does not understand is part of what makes it great is the vibe of JoJo's.
Yeah.
And until you're in the zone, until you understand the vibe, you will not like it. Any of it. But once you're into the vibe, I think you will love all of it. Every meme and every pose becomes greatness.
I mean,
Plus,
yeah.
the battles are the best, literally the best fights in all of anime.
I will say that's the one thing that I don't like is the fact that everyone's always posting JoJo memes, Connor specifically, and I'm just I don't get it.
Well, it's because you don't. No one.
So watch it.
Just watch it, and you'll understand, and then you'll appreciate.
But as far as controversial opinions go, I do think that it's possible to dodge Emerald Splash. I mean, some people would say no one could dodge Emerald Splash. I don't know about that.
I mean, they said that, and then everyone continued to dodge it.
It was horrible. So sad.
Oh man.
I have a sick controversial opinion that'll piss the hell out of Briggs.
Go ahead.
Normally, I like annoying Animac, but whatever. We'll take turns. Briggs, I think that Kuroko no Basket is better than Hajime no Ippo.
You're wrong, but I haven't seen Kuroko no Basket, so I can't actually argue that. You've seen both, right? So your opinion should hold
I
more
take it
weight,
back.
but it doesn't.
I just wanted to annoy you. In a way, I do like it better. I do like certain aspects to it better. But
I mean,
one's
super over the top, Kuroko no Basket. I've only watched the first season. While I feel like Ippo, it's bound by reality, but they still make the fights over the top, and I don't know. I find it amazing. I think Hajime no Ippo was my third favorite anime of all time, and I haven't watched enough Kuroko to actually verify, but I wasn't crazy about it.
Well, to get back to you, by the way, on the sub versus dub thing, I watched a dub.
Ippo?
I've also seen.
I watched it dub too, but now I would watch a sub, especially because the newest season's in sub only. I'm pretty sure. Go ahead.
I've seen some of Kuroko no Basket, but I just don't care that much about them playing basketball, man. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you don't like any
that's
sports
horrible.
anime,
That's
so
your
that's sort of
horrible
bad.
opinion on sports
Except-
anime.
Except Keijo.
Yes. And by the way, another opinion of mine is that Keijo is just as funny as One Punch Man.
No.
Yeah, but the philosophy's not there, bro.
Or is it?
No.
Or is it? Probably not. But.
Oh, I have a sick controversial opinion. Oh man, Animag, you are gonna love this. I was just so sad that I was pissed. I said something against Briggs instead of you. I had to come up with a good one.
Just don't say it, Nux.
I will.
Don't do it.
Recreators is better, unironically, than Kill a Kill.
That evil
Sorry,
laugh.
can I hear what you said? Can I hear what you said? I missed it. Sorry.
Ah, Briggs.
Don't make him repeat it, man.
I
I'm
heard
gonna say it
something's
again.
better
I'm
than
gonna
Kill la
say it
Kill,
again.
and I agree, but
This
I don't know
time-
what it is.
This time I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna enunciate it better.
Go for it.
Recreators is better than Kill a Kill.
I mean, I'm not a Kill la Kill fan, but I also haven't seen the modern classic that is Recreators.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
just
mean-
nuts, man.
I'm not gonna get into this with Nux. He's wrong, but only one of those. In Nux's defense, only one of those anime is a modern classic. So
There we go.
Can I drop an opinion here, boys?
Go
I
for
decided
it.
to leave this one for the end. Saitama versus Goku is not only dumb, but also pointless. So, I've never been crazy about like making characters from different worlds fight each other. I think it's kind of dumb, but you know what? I understand that like there could be fun in it. When I was young, I probably debated that type of shit as well. But people take it really, really seriously and stand by like these videos that they watch, like people proving that this character is stronger than this character. And one of the things that like I don't care, have fun debating your characters, but specifically Goku versus Saitama really bothers me because the power scaling thought process is, well, Goku has feats that are big and Saitama's feats are smaller. So therefore, in a debate, you can't prove that Saitama is stronger than Goku, so Goku wins by default. But that's the thing. He wins by default. And my thought process is, so what's the point of power scaling? We're trying to figure out how strong these characters really are. And we could use Goku's feats to understand how strong Goku is. But at the same time, you can't use Saitama's feats to understand how strong he is. If I go and kick the shit out of like a little kid, can you be like, okay, Briggs can beat up that person, therefore like that's his feat. But obviously you don't know what I could really do. Saitama beats everyone effortlessly or with very little amount of his actual power. We don't know how high he can go. Like power scaling terms, you could say that Saitama's best feat is like planetary or whatever, but you don't know how much higher he can really achieve. So saying we're gonna have to quantify Saitama by his highest recorded, what is that really? Is that really quantifying his power? If you know he is so much stronger, but we don't know how strong, and he has the potential to like have not have low limit, but he has a limitless potential. We don't know how strong he is. It could be anywhere from 0 to infinity, and we literally don't know. How can I possibly say with certainty that Goku is stronger and really argue that when I don't know what Saitama could do? He's unquantifiable for the time being, and that's why I think the whole debate is dumb and pointless. It's like, okay, yeah, you're just trying to win the debate and not actually prove anything, basically.
Well, Briggs, 2 points.
Go ahead.
Point A, I actually invited Seth, and he was in an Uber on his way home from the gym
That would've been
when
so
I
fun.
asked him, so he couldn't come. So that's unfortunate. Second, to play devil's advocate, in the manga, when Saitama was fighting Boros, and Boros used one of his like meteor buster whatever attacks,
hmm
it said in the actual manga that Saitama took damage.
No, that's a false translation. It's not
It's
in the
not.
actual. It's 100% it. It's a wrong translation. So he does have scratches and or dirt on his body, but the actual thing that says he took damage was added by a fan translation, and it is not in the official print. 100%.
Also, he used a serious punch against Boros.
What does that mean? It's a name that Saitama made up. He could have super
Well,
serious.
did he
This
try?
is anime.
Is his trying? Let's say 1% of his power. Is it 0.1% of his
So
power?
regardless, you can't estimate what it is.
It was serious to some degree, meaning his power is not infinite, correct?
You have super serious, super duper serious. You
and
don't know
that's
how-
a single punch.
By the fact that Sirius did not wipe out reality, it means it's not his power is not infinite, correct?
Okay.
So if his power is not infinite, it's technically weaker than certain points of Goku when he surpassed infinity.
But we don't know if Saitama
What does it
can
mean
surpass
to surpass
infinity.
infinity? That's total bullshit. That
If
doesn't mean
we
anything.
know that
If you could wipe out a multiverse, then you've surpassed.
Wipe
levels.
out how?
my thought
By
process
farting?
is you're
How do you wipe
estimating
out?
by Saitama's so
I'm
that's
just playing devil's
I
advocate.
know you
here.
are. I know you are.
I-
So I don't remember what the exact word
tried
is that
any of this.
debaters use, but you can't use a name of an attack, for example. Like names of attacks are historically like inaccurate. So like you can't just say, okay, this is his serious attack, and then you try to estimate even if it's 1% of his power.
If he's serious, then he's obviously not infinitely strong. If he's
I don't know.
serious, at least to some degree, he's not infinite. Because even like 0.0000001% of infinite is still infinite.
But for Saitama, a gag character or a meme character, 0.000000000, like keep on going for another 20 minutes could still be him being serious because that's how far he is above everyone else. We don't know.
I think the point is with this, it's fun, and I think people should do this type of like power scaling between worlds because it's fun and do it for fun. But don't apply like scientific standards to it because you can't. Because these two worlds have completely different sciences, completely different structures and biological makeups, and those worlds have a different science than our world. So it's impossible to take this super seriously and do like a scientific analysis. It's very much limited to how much of a scientific analysis it can be. So have fun with it, make an argument, but don't take it like super seriously. That's my only thing.
Well, I
also,
think that's
didn't
a
mean to say
complaint with
Saitama was a
anything
gag
altogether.
character. Take that
You're
back.
taking this to a point that any opinion, I think, or even if you think your opinion is a fact, you don't be toxic about it.
Yeah.
That's
I agree.
That's
But pretty much what I was trying to say is like, just because someone used a serious punch or someone like, for example, he took a little bit of damage, people try to use that to scale Saitama, and then they say it's only, even if that's only 0.001% of his power, that's still not enough to beat Goku. And I just think it's ridiculous because we don't actually know how much further beyond Saitama can really go, because everyone around him is mere peasants in his like what's it called, when Boros first saw Saitama, he's like, there's no limit to this guy's power, and then in the end he even said that Saitama wasn't even trying. So like, one serious punch, how serious is that
Saitama's
really?
obviously leagues above everyone else.
Yeah.
I mean,
So how do we know how far he could really go if he doesn't fight someone that
Saitama
pushes
never
him to
really
his
had a
limit?
true challenge.
So Goku fights someone who's always like near him in strength, so we could see how far he could really go and kind of quantify what he can and cannot do, while at the same time Saitama's never pushed to his limit. The best we have is him using a serious punch, which is the title of his attack, and him having some scratches. And I just don't think that's enough to go off of to actually understand how far he really is in strength. And it is kind of like, what's the point of debating these two characters when we really don't know how strong Saitama really is?
Okay,
Or
I think
even a basic
I think we
average.
set enough on this, guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we take this seriously, then the mosquito is also stronger than Goku. But moving on. Nux, do you want to read some reviews, bro? We've missed you for the last 2 weeks.
oh hell yeah, that's what I'm here for. You want to find it for
Are
me,
you-
or should I like try?
Are you able to find him?
Don't worry, I'm a tech master. I can do this. Never mind. I'm kidding.
I'm
All right, I'll
link
Ah.
it's immediately good.
Look,
If
I'll
you wanna-
search, you search, and you'll probably win. But I will try.
By the way, everybody, if you want to support the podcast, be sure to rate and review it wherever you watch it, because that does help get the podcast out there. More people see it, and it's a big help to us. We have 364, I think, ratings on iTunes right now.
Damn.
Let's try to get that to 400, everybody.
Yay. All right, link me, man. I can't find it.
I linked you.
Very cool.
In-
Alrighty.
I'm super
Nux's
interested to see
soothing
what
voice
what
keeps
chat
me
has to
up
go.
5 stars. What?
I'm so interested to see what chat had to say while we were debating there. Or
All right. Well, I am a huge fan of Nux's YouTube channel, and I just learned about this podcast yesterday, so I decided to catch up and listen to all your casts. Sadly, I reached the end of them. Oh my god, he found it yesterday, and he already reached the end.
Impossible. Well, I mean, I guess on our YouTube channel, yeah.
He or she. Trina the anime freak. Very cool. Anyway, I reached the end of them in the middle of this cold, dead place of work. Walmart, please send help. So, I had to go on with the rest of the night without you awesome beans talking in my ear. I can gladly say that the Rant Cafe with the wrong accent on the E cast keeps me up for my third shift and even makes the night go faster. Of course, I forget I'm at work and talk to myself out loud while listening, only getting mildly confused and concerned looks from my coworkers if they only understood the philosophical beauty that is this podcast.
Yes, I love it. And it's true, a lot of people who listen to Rank Cafe as a podcast and stuff end up yelling angrily to themselves. It's one of the things that happens.
All right, next. So my first introduction to you guys was episode 131, 5 stars. As stated in my title, my first tune-in was episode 131. Which one was that?
That was the Chariot Requiem episode.
Oh my god, that was someone's first episode?
Chariot Requiem episode.
The one where we pretended to be each other?
No.
Oh God.
Was it that one? Oh, it might have been that one. As stated in my title, the first tune was episode 131. Needless to say, it was very confusing. When I went back to the very next podcast and everyone switched back to normal, I think. It was that one. You guys are the best. From the man, the myth, the legend, Animac, Kamina backwards, to Nuxanor, that's Lord Nuxanor, to Lord Brigo. He gets a Lord and I don't get it. Damn it.
Lord.
Anyway, I find Animac's taste very good and refreshing as well as very honest. When it comes to Nux, I find him to be very quick to pull the trigger, rating all of his anime SSS tier, but overall okay taste. I don't understand why he has such high hopes for Magi, but whatever. And Brig's taste is pretty good, like Animax, but I think his #1 anime is more out of the sentiment than actual quality, but I still love Kenichi nonetheless. I haven't gotten far in Gintama. I figured I would try it since Nux recommends it so much, and I am totally hooked and it's getting pretty good.
Fun fact, I go back and watch Kenichi and it's still fucking amazing.
I listen to you guys every day on my drive to work. Some top-notch stuff. Keep up the great work. Megoom is not a viable option. I don't know who Megoom is, but Megoom definitely is a viable option. Stay weird, fan. Shimpaku. See ya, Space Cowboys. Thank you, Bill Manantor, for this beautiful review. Bill
Thank you very much. And I agree about Megoom not being a viable option.
I don't know who Megoom is. Megoom definitely is, so it's probably not that.
Yeah, definitely not talking about the same person. I think there's a confusion here.
Yeah. K Doggones says, best anime of all time, 5 stars. The Rant Cafe is truly the best anime of all time, and if you disagree, you clearly don't understand the deep philosophy behind Nux voting against Animac, Nux's trolling, Lord Brigo's epic laugh, and Animac as best girl. Fun fact, he spelled Animac with a CK, that's a first. Make them the best trio in anime. The epicness of Nux's and Animac's rivalry is only matched by Remove and Rioters cycling while standing. I'm calmly waiting for the final battle of this anime to settle who is the ultimate weeb. May I suggest a live Pokemon battle to settle this once and for all? Well, that didn't work last time, did it, Brigo?
Oh, you destroyed me. That was fun.
Yeah. Anyway. So Animac's gonna make fun of me. Oh, never mind. I figured out how to see all the reviews, not just the first three. Anyway, this is so sad. Brings back memories. 5 stars. I wish I could give this an even higher rating, but for now, a 5-star will suffice. Listening to Nux, Animac with a C, and Lord Brigo talk circles around any given topic reminds me when I used to listen to Giga, Colton, Tristan, and Jean on Podtaku back in the day. Yeah, good old times, huh? Anyway, you guys have fantastic chemistry, especially with Evanito. It doesn't say that, but
yeah, I know.
With each other. This podcast is a joy to listen to every episode. I love Nux's obligatory JoJo references and correctly pronouncing Furume to the Aruki. How Animac is constantly reminding us that his name is Kamina spelled backwards, even though they spelled it with a C. Sorry.
I know, man. It's so frustrating.
Everyone, make this a meme. Spell it with a C. Sorry.
It already is. People already do it on purpose. People already do it.
Yeah. Sure, you tell yourself that. And of course, Lord Tank Top Brigo bringing up One Piece in the most unrelated conversations. Thanks for giving my much needed dosage of animu podcasto. You guys are the best in the world. Thank you, Zero.
That was awesome.
That's awesome.
Very awesome. Next, good. 5 stars. I like this podcast. And that was nice and straightforward.
Yeah, thank you, Blank.
Thanks,
You
Blank.
are right to the point.
I didn't talk about Todoroki being a trash character. Fuck. Someone just reminded me in chat. That's a pretty unpopular opinion. Okay, continue.
I know,
I'm
because
sorry.
It's also a wrong opinion. I think you don't even feel that way. You just memed yourself into believing it.
Yeah, I know. Now
I
you
know
mean
you're
you're
talking-
into a corner.
I
Yeah.
don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, thank you. 5 stars. I stumbled to this watch/listen to what? I started to watch/listen to a lot of anime YouTubers, and I stumbled across Nux and started to mainly watch and listen to his videos while I'm at work. Then I came across Anime Uproar via recommendations. I would always put on the videos from YouTube while driving because it's like 70% of what I do for my job. Because it makes my drive a lot more entertaining. Sadly, I only found out about this podcast recently because of the episode of Nux's Top 50 Roast. But for the past week, I've been listening to all of the old podcasts. Thank you for making my drives a lot better. P.S. Animag with a C. Your main is amazing.
Appreciate
Well, that's a
the
controversial
fair
opinion.
compliment.
Controversial
but
opinion
it's
right
not
there.
like, hey, everybody.
Oh man, this next review. No Nux or Animac. Wow! That was the 1 week Lord Brigo had to hold down the fort. Thanks, Lord Brigo. We love you. 5 stars.
But read the review because it's funny.
With Nux and Animac gone, it felt like a discussion between adults instead of 16-year-olds mocking each other. However, there was a severe lack of JoJo references, so hail to Nux! That's a JoJo reference!
Wow.
And the user's name is Cars for a road trip in space.
Hell yeah! Next, inspirational, 5 stars. This is the podcast that truly got me into anime. While I'm still a beginner in the anime scene, these podcasts are the reason I've started actively pursuing anime. Thank you guys so much. You're welcome, Isaac Adams.
I feel like that's not true. But if it is, I respect it. But I just feel like that just sounds too good to be true, you know? It's like, I didn't even like anime, and then I discovered Rank of Fame before even liking anime, and now I like anime because of Rank of Fame.
No, they were a beginner, and then they found the podcast, and they were like, damn, this is
They have a
cool.
newfound appreciation now.
Wow.
All right.
They even titled the review inspirational, and you just go and harp on their dreams like that, man. Wow. Anyway, next. I know you will not read this, but still, 5 stars. That's a dead giveaway. We're going to read it, but now we just don't want to admit we read it because it's like your reverse psychology work thing.
No, it's tsundering us. It's tsundering us, bro.
I'm going to skip it anyway. No, I'm kidding. I have been binging this podcast for the last week and I cannot stop. Whenever I listen to the podcast, I immediately get isekai'd into the amazing land of anime. Missed Animac last week. BTW. Next.
Thank you
guys...
for the correct spelling.
Yeah, thank you, Weird Weeb 101. Very cool. Next. Are you ready for this, guys? Truck Gun did nothing wrong. 5 stars. Now I have to click the read full review to read the full review. Yes, that's how it works. Oh, God, it's a full review. Well, welcome to the Rant Cafe Anime Podcast, a community where you get to meet all the fellow weebs and otakus alike. You first have the host of the podcast from the anime YouTube Twitch channel, Anime Uproar. What makes Animac with a K unique is his own special way. What? Is his own special way, one might ask themselves. Well, you see, Animac is clearly somewhat of a masochist for having deep, lewd thoughts of Kira's wife in darkness in bed at the same time.
True. This is true. This is staring into my soul right now.
Don't tell your wife. He is also the go-to guy when it comes to political philosophy. Next up, we have the one and only Nux Taku, a sarcastic demon, some might say, when in fact he's more of like a sarcastic genius. Nux Taku is light years ahead of the current time that he has transcended beyond human comprehension and understanding of our world. The way Nux Taku pronounces Furumeto de Alchemist Brotherhood the correct way, and not the way these plebs pronounce it, as getting everyone on board with watching quality anime, like, for example, Fate Zero, JoJo Bizarre Adventure, Psyche Kusuo, Berserk 1997, Golden Time, and is also a meme lord. Finally, last but not least, we have Briggs from All Day Anime. What makes Lord Brigo so special and a true Chad of the stream isn't only because he's a gleeful dude. No, it's so much more. It's the fact that Tank Top Brigo outshines everyone in the competition when it comes to games and picking up whammon on the block. Double the points
damn.
without his shirt on because it only keeps him back from unlocking his true hidden potential.
Damn.
It's the fact that Lord Brigo made me watch Great Teacher Onizuka while Kenichi is still in the works of my list of planning to watch, but it will happen. Also, I don't need a free shirt after writing this review. Oh, we already knew we won. Instead, you can give one lucky member from your lucky Patreon a free shirt as a thank you from me. P.S. Invite Anime Recon back every once in a while. That way Nux and Recon can go at it at each other. Shura Prince, thank you very much. Very cool.
Yeah, sure, Prince. That was an amazing review.
Yeah, thanks,
really
man.
appreciate it. And sure, Prince has been around for a long time. He's a true Rank Cafe fan, so of course he knows us. He stares into our very souls.
Rant Cafe.
Yo,
And okay, if you don't want a free shirt from animerapper.com, then I'll have to give it to someone from Patreon.
go for it, man. Also, funny, I was playing this boss in Dark Souls. And I legit died 40 times. And I'm like, fuck it. We're going hard. I'm putting on a tank top. First try, like little to no damage. The true
This
power.
doesn't even
Why-
surprise me.
Why do you act surprised? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even like I said, the tank top gives me the ability to see into the future.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But yeah, that's all the time we have for the reviews, guys. Thank you so much for your hilarious, inspirational, and motivational reviews. We appreciate you. Thank you to my co-hosts Briggs and Noxtaku for joining us and for making this episode happen. Also to Evanito, our guest, our boy, always clutch, always there for us.
I have no life, so it's fine.
You know, you have the
Everyone check out
greatest.
Evanito. He's close to 10,000 subscribers. Subscribe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Evanito, close to
Whatever.
10,000 subscribers.
150 is close, but you know.
Check out his channel. It's Evanito, the always a zero. And you can also click the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube.
Cassie Love, thanks for the 100 bits.
Yeah, thank you everyone who watched live, everyone who watches listens as a podcast, everyone who watches on YouTube. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.
Ciao.
Shinpaku.